Hello there, my name's Isaac Butterfield and I have some very important information that I wish to share with you. It may change your life, it may shock you, it may change the way that your DNA expresses itself on a daily basis. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not agree that people should be able to marry your cousin, then you're a racist. Yes, these are reports coming out of the UK that a lot of people believe that you should be able to marry your cousins there. And I for one, am really pro this because my cousins are big, hot, burly men. Very gorgeous blokes. That's not true. They're all gross. But I think that most people here will agree that you should be able to marry a cousin because of who is saying that you should be able to marry a cousin. And what I mean by that is it's certain people of a certain religion from a certain part of the world are saying this. And therefore, if you disagree with them, then you're a bad person and you should be cancelled from life. So you're going to see a lot of people agree with this, or at least not comment on it because they're too scared. Here's what I'm talking about. It's this article. MP, Member of Parliament in the UK, call to ban cousin marriage is prejudice. Prejudice, just another word for racism. And that's what this person who wrote this article is suggesting. That if you dare to go out there and say something so outrageous, like you shouldn't marry someone who's fucking related to you, then you are a bad person and a racist. Now, before I go any further in this video, ladies and gentlemen, it's about to heat up quite a bit, like, you know, all cousin love is. This video is brought to you by the great people at Fume. Fume is a flavored air device that helps people replace a bad habit that they have developed. And a lot of people have developed these bad habits. And that's why one of the Christmas gifts I gave to someone last year in my family was one of these devices, because I wanted to see them break that bad habit. And that's what Fume can do. Now, you may not have heard of the flavored air category, but it's quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking. It's a whole new movement towards better habits, and Fume is the absolute industry leader when it comes to this. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that draws flavor into your mouth, not your lungs, and it's a great way to satisfy that oral fixation, how you doing, with non-toxic flavor. It's also something to hold and fidget with. This is a whole part of the addiction process as you're going through that motion, right? And so that's why Fume is great. You can actually hold it, you can fidget with it, you can play with it. My favorite flavor is crisp mint. It's refreshing and satisfying without any of the harmful effects that you associate with the other habits. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no vapor, there's no nicotine, there's no horrible stuff, all right? There's no batteries even. There's nothing. It's just flavored air. Fume continuously invests in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their product. And in the US, it's even backed by doctors. Try Fume today. That is my call out in this video. And if you order the Journey Pack today and use code Butterfield, you're gonna get a free topper. How good is that? That is absolutely fantastic. Head to tryfume, that's tryfum.com/Butterfield and do it right now, ladies and gentlemen, and support those who support this channel. Now, back to the very important video. Cousin love. Now, The Guardian, who published this headline, MP's call to ban cousin marriage is prejudice, obviously chose to use the word prejudice there, which, if you don't know, means preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. It's just based on people from, you know, different backgrounds. That's the whole point, right? I guess if they decided to, and let's change it, MP's call to ban cousin marriage is racist, I think that would be the best headline of 2025. And it's far too early in the year to be running shit like that, all right? I would like them to do that eventually, but right now, it's too early. Now, for you to understand why people are against the banning of cousin marriage in the UK, you need to understand what's happening there right now. The UK as a whole is currently under this dark cloud of the most heinous shit of all time. You see, the powers that be allegedly have been avoiding investigating crimes because allegedly the men who may have committed them were brown and of a certain religion and from a certain area. They avoided those investigations allegedly because of that. And if that is true, that is horrible. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, even if you're from the part of the world where these alleged criminals come from, and you are from that religion, I guarantee you have the same opinion. How dare these fucking grubs get away with this shit just because of what they look like? That is a racist society if you act like that, if you ignore things. They ignored it because they didn't want to seem like racist, but what they're actually doing is extremely racist. And just so you know, these guys weren't out there stealing iPads and shit, right? The iPhones from the fucking Apple store. No, they were doing the worst crime imaginable to children. So England, the UK, but mainly England, you're pretty fucked right now. And the only way you can do anything about this is by, well, voting out the grubs who allow this to happen. And a special shout out to the English media who decided that the best way to deal with all these horrible stories coming out over the past few weeks was to blame Elon Musk and shame him rather than dealing with this shit that's happening in your country, which is very obvious if you just look. Don't even look at the headline. Look at the URL of this story from Wired. I don't know if they're an English news provider, but it is very much exactly the same as what we're seeing in England. The URL itself has Elon Musk and disinformation in it. Sure thing, guys. Whatever you want to push. On the topic of mis and disinformation, this bullshit.
TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Australian teenagers are getting their news now from a variety of sources. But how do they know who to trust? Well, 10 News First can tonight exclusively reveal that soon every high school in the country will be equipped to teach students how to separate fact from fake news.
As if that's not the dodgiest shit of all fucking time. Let me rephrase what the news lady here is saying. People are thinking for themselves, and it's about time that stopped. So let's indoctrinate children into the way of thinking that we approve. Yours sincerely, the Ministry for Truth.
Put your hand up if you thought it was opinion. Great.
In an evolving online world where media isn't just created by credible journalists.
Hang the fuck on. Credible fucking journalists? Suck my disgraceful scrotum, mate. That's fuck you to the moon.
These year 8s are learning how to spot fake news.
Especially around COVID-19.
Hey, don't talk about that. That was a very difficult time, and I'd like to thank all the hardworking people in Big Pharma for saving our lives. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, let me just apologise for what I have said in the past about a certain injection developed by Big Pharma. I was wrong with everything negative I said about that. Everything. The government was right to force us to get it. Why have I changed my tune, you ask? Well, I don't want to go into it, but in unrelated news, a case of a 19-year-old woman experiencing significant breast hypertrophy starting 1 week after receiving the Pfizer COVID-19 vax in September 2022. The patient initially reported tingling paresthesia in her breasts. Oof, don't you hate it? Followed by sudden bilateral growth. I guess that's what that means, which worsened after receiving the second vax dose. Over 6 months, her breast size increased from a B cup to a triple G. Trust the science. Now, back to the main story, which, if you're not following, is the cousin marrying and fucking, allegedly. Dr. Kawaratal Rahman points to the low absolute risk of birth defects in children born to consanguineous parents who are related, I guess, in response to Richard Holden, who was the Member of Parliament who raised this bill. Now, I don't care if the birth defects rate is low. Don't fuck your cousin. There you go. I said it. That's what I love about that Butterfield bloke on YouTube. He says what everyone's thinking. Don't fuck your cousin. I find it intriguing that a Conservative former minister, Richard Holden, has called for first cousin marriage to be banned in the UK. I wouldn't call it intriguing, okay? I wouldn't call it intriguing at all. Maybe overdue. Maybe that ban should have been there for quite a while. I know the English did this back in the day with the kings and the queens and all this type of stuff, but they stopped it. Do you know why they stopped doing that? Most people in England stopped doing that because it's fact. Quick sidebar, did you all know about Cleopatra? I'm sure you've heard of Cleopatra, but do you know her genealogy? Her great-grandfather and grandfather was the same person. Fuck yeah. How good. Her parents also were brother and sister, and she married one of her brothers. And then the other one. Fuck yeah. How good. Now, the doctor who wrote this article, okay, he's working as a GP. He's a very smart guy. I guess. GP working at the Royal Hospital for Neurodisability in London. Obviously, very, very smart. But to have opinions like this, there has to be something else happening. It has to do with culture and religion. And I know a lot of people say you got to respect other cultures and religions, but at some point you got to sit there and go, this is the Western world, all right? England's part of the Western world. So fucking don't root your cousin. That's all I'm saying. We don't fuck our cousins in the Western world. Well, maybe some of us do, but at the very least, we look down upon it. Now, in the article, he talks about the MP who wants to ban the cousin marriage, Holden. And he reminds Mr. Holden that the English upper class did this for centuries. We know that. He then goes on to say that he's attacking Pakistani culture as a whole. And I don't think he's attacking Pakistani culture. He's attacking one part of something that some people in Pakistan may believe. But is that attacking a culture? Or is that just saying, hey, guys, love you, what you're about, but fucking cut this shit out? Now, two things. Christmas must be a great time when you're fucking all your cousins. What a great time. Big fucking bukkake party. Number two, I thought that this was just like, a couple of people did this in these parts of the world. Not true. Apparently, cousin marriages and family marriages are quite common, with 65% of the marriages in Pakistan between someone and their cousin, followed by India at 55, Saudi Arabia at 50, Afghanistan at 40, Iran at 30, and Egypt and Turkey at 20. All countries I can't wait to visit, by the way. The author goes on to say that Mr. Holden is an elected official, and he should be bringing communities together, not alienating them on the grounds of prejudice and intolerance. It's not racism. It's not intolerance. Stop fucking your cousin. Stop it. Cut it out. Enough. All right? Good. Glad we could get through this video. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Be extinct. Toodaloo. Au revoir. Peace in the Middle East. Get a piece of your cousin in the Middle East. Toodaloo. Au revoir. Bye-bye.